All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just going to do a little bit of a ration review for you today. This is another one from Hero Rations, and this is an early war K-Ration dinner unit. So let's get started. The boxes don't look half bad, and they are reusable. That's always good. The inner box is waxed, and it's very plain, no morale stuff. This is a 43, early 44, and it looks good from the outside. So, your meal. It's supposed to be processed cheese. It's actually chicken. I was actually hoping for processed cheese. I think they did say in one of their updates within the past month that they are getting correct sized cans for processed cheese. The only processed cheese cans are like 8 ounces, and they don't really fit in a K-Ration box. So I think they're working on that. I was actually hoping for actual processed cheese for the dinner unit, but the chicken's okay. Cigarettes, obviously nothing in there. They can't sell tobacco. But this is the correct case. You can just put your unfiltered cigarettes in there. Wrigley's, they've just left the foil on because it's just going to get eaten anyway. But it is a good wrapper, and if I can get it in camera, it is a good wrapper. Looks a lot like Originals. And then there's your matches. Mosquito bites cause malaria. So, wear your bug spray, I guess. So, there we go. And it does come with matches, actual matches, and not just an empty book. Now, here's the real meat of the ration, and what I think makes Hero Rations a pretty good brand. You got the Chocolattos, and you can see them right there. I'm not going to open the cellophane right now. You have your sugar. And then you have your biscuits. So you have 2 different types of biscuits in here per the correct spec. And you have your lemon juice powder because this is a dinner unit, which is lunch. It's not a coffee requirement of a unit. So you have your different types of biscuits. One should be sweet and one should be kind of plain normally, but that changed with each K-Ration type, and there's a couple dozen types. There's like subtypes within a type, so there's a couple dozen, you know. But as far as actual numbered types, I think there were up to 4 or 5 K-Ration types. I think it was 4, and then there's like A, B, C, whatever. 4A, 4B, 1A, 1B. But yeah, so that's the dinner unit. I don't have any of the other types of units right now. They are about $30-ish after shipping. Or I think before. But you can find them on Etsy. You can find them on Facebook. And you can, I think they have an eBay store as well. I will look for that link, at least to the Etsy store, and you can go and check them out yourself. They do sell kits to refill these, so I didn't tear this open. I actually just slid a knife under there and popped it so I can reuse it. So once I actually eat that in the field, I can just put a little bit of tape, 2-sided tape right there, and just, you know, or just leave it like that and fold it up and put it in the bigger box, which is resealable. But these are pretty substantial boxes. They're on pretty thick cardstock, so they're going to last you a good while. They're also really good for display, even if you don't eat them. Mainly because I have not seen, aside from Originals, fully done, you know, correct packaging type, you know, attempted K-Rations. And you do see cellophane sachets of lemon juice powder, and you also see the aluminum lined paper ones as well. But like I said, it's got the biscuits in there, so that's your bread component, that's your drink, that's your sweets, so your sugar, and even more sugar. a main meal, which in this case, like I said, should be processed cheese. Can says processed cheese. This one is chicken, but it's usually processed cheese or processed cheese with like bacon bits, I think, depending on the ration type. That would be your dinner unit for a K ration. Now, a lot of info on the K ration is out on krationinfo.com, and I will link that below because it is very important to know that these meals are not going to sustain you for very long. The C ration and the K ration are actually designed as assault rations. And the K ration is designed for the paratroopers because, look, rectangles. It's got angles. And you can take those angles and you can pack them a lot easier than you can a can. The C ration cans go from 16 to 12 ounces before the war because they're seen as too bulky. But they're still too bulky for paratroopers or too heavy. It's a lot of metal. So they go to this. And the brief rundown is C rations pack more calories. They pack about, I think it was 3,800 to 4,200 depending on which meal you got or which menu you got. But K rations barely got over 2,000. I think they got to 2,500. And I know from a modern standpoint, 2,500 sounds like a lot for, you know, a breakfast, dinner, and a supper K ration. You know, that's your full, you know, caloric intake for a day. Well, that's for people like you and me that do absolutely nothing. Or, you know, maybe we do some light exercise or whatever. But for someone doing a soldier's job in combat, 2,500 calories is nothing. You will go through that. So guys were all often left with a sense of hunger and a sense of not even being full from these. They actually preferred the C rations in that regard because it made them feel full. C rations, obviously you get a bread unit and you get a meat unit. The 10-in ones are a little bit different, but aside from their bulk, as far as caloric intake, the guys tended to like them. But 10-in ones are a little more difficult to transport. K rations, obviously not difficult. They're small. This is literally the first MRE, and I'll just go through that little thesis right now. So obviously, you have this. That is kind of like your accessory packet. You would have some sort of a sweet gum, obviously, which was always packaged separate, but you still see that. You get a bread of some sort, a carb in modern MREs. You get a drink packet of some sort. You get sugar. Depending on what you get, you'll get salt. Like I said, sweet. And if you get coffee, the coffee for the K-Rats is usually in the breakfast and supper. Normally in the breakfast, but I've seen it in other ones. But mostly breakfast. And then, obviously, matches to go with the cigarettes, which they don't put in MREs anymore. The cigarettes, they do put matches in there, though. And then you have your entree. Obviously, these are not in the, the boilable, the bags like they have in modern MREs. But this is quite literally the first self-packaged meal ready to eat, if you think about it. C ration is not like that because you have two separate units. You have a can of meat, meat menu item. It can be beef hash or whatever that was. Meat and spaghetti noodles, meat and marinara with noodles. You know, they had up to 12 different menus for the meat units. And then you have your B units, two separate cans. It's not really self-sustaining, self-contained. This all is. So, this is the granddaddy of the MRE, essentially. It's not a full, it's not a fully fledged modern MRE like you think about it, but all the components are here. You got your exterior packaging. You got accessory packet with your bread, your drink, all the stuff like I said. your meat, your gum, and some MREs come with matches. Not all of them do, but some of them do. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give Hero Rations a look, especially if you're a reenactor. They've got good stuff. Their prices are fairly decent. And the best part is that stuff is reusable. I stressed that in the C Ration review that I did about, 4 weeks ago now. Reusability is key for reenactors. For those that aren't in the hobby, it's already an expensive hobby. So having something that's reusable is actually really nice. That being said, as far as reusability, Hero Rations does sell refill components, so you don't have to make them on your own. But again, that's going to be on their Etsy site. I can't remember all their prices offhand, but they're pretty decent prices. I wouldn't say they're lowballing people, and I wouldn't say that they are price gouging. But I would go give them a look, especially if you're interested in rations. That guy knows a lot. He collects a lot of stuff, so if you follow him on Facebook or YouTube, you will see a lot more than World War II rations. You'll see some Korean War era stuff. You'll see some MCIs and RCIs, Vietnam era stuff, and very early MREs from 83, 84. But hope you've enjoyed this video. Go give them a look. If you do, great. If not, I mean, you're an individual. Figure it out. Till next time, have a good one.